Dr. Garg, we've obviously known each other for a long time.
A long time.
A very long time.
Yes.
In fact, I think you were in our first handful of clients back when we originally opened our doors. So
Yes.
it's a pleasure getting to have this conversation with you. And you've built an incredible career. You know, you've been in industry over 20 years. You were a professor of surgery at the University of Miami, founding implant seminars at IDIA, running 8 of your own practices. For the folks watching who may not know your story, can you walk us through how you got to where you are now?
Let me give you a quick 30-second overview. And if you'd like more, I can give you more, I was a full-time professor at the University of Miami, and I got to do a lot of really cool things. And my passion became dental implants and bone grafting. So we got to do really, really exciting things there. Under the university umbrella is lots of a lot of things were covered by the county, so we didn't have to get case acceptance, et cetera. And I did that for almost a full career in essence. And I made it like a school teacher salary.
Yeah.
Didn't bother me. That was not my driving force. It was really growing and doing cutting edge procedures, developing new things. I did seminars. I was teaching doctors, residents at the hospital, but also CE courses every weekend.
Yeah.
And I was doing domestic courses 3 times a month, international courses 1 time a month. So every single month I did that. And then after several decades, I left the university because with more and more bureaucracy, when the economy going down, companies didn't reach out to the university guys first. They used to. Now they reach out to private practitioners first because they wanted the revenue from it. So I thought, if I want to stay cutting edge, which is my passion, I have to move to private practice. It was not about income.
Yeah.
And I did that, and developed an entrepreneurial knack, which obviously I didn't have while I was at the university.
I mean, I could argue that you did, but you know.
Yeah, maybe. And started the seminar side, which is a trajectory that I was already on there. Started the clinical, again, the same types of things. And grew the clinic from 1 to 8 clinics. And then also, and those are fee-for-service, private, out-of-network offices. Also is an equity holder and partner in a 80-office DSO. Okay? So it's where I understand the different models.
Yeah, and that's really valuable right now.
Yeah, fee-for-service, out-of-network. Okay? Individual practices, all branded differently, et cetera. And a much PPO 80 office DSO.
Yeah.
Okay. And really under the hood on all these different models is meanwhile continue to do the seminars and develop other seminar companies on Botox and fillers and perio and other things. And then got interested in investing outside dentistry. So for folks that are interested in real estate, started doing some of that. As folks interested in things completely creative, like Michelin star restaurants, et cetera, is doing those types of things. So yeah, that's what it's been. And
I mean, that's some really interesting stuff. And I wanted to hit home on something there. It's a really hot topic in dentistry right now, is DSOs versus private practice. And as someone who kind of has their hands and dipped on both sides of it, what can you say for the people that think DSOs are bad for dentistry? Because that's a lot of private practices say that. I would be interested to hear your take as someone who operates on both sides.
Each model, would dislike a different model.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, no one likes change.
Yes.
Everyone dislikes change.
Right. And so is if one model is growing, then the one that's shrinking will dislike it. Right? Is right now, and I don't know the future. None of us have a crystal ball. Yeah. Right? I mean, I wish I did.
We'd be billionaires.
Yes, of course, And so is right now there's room for all of these things.
Could not agree more.
Whether you're fee for service, they work. For many, they don't work for some. Out-of-network works for many, not for some. PPO works for many, not for some. HMO works for many, not for some. Medicaid works for many, not for some.
Yeah.
Okay? So all of those models work, right? If you're doing it right. Right? If you do it wrong, if you're playing a PPO game in a fee-for-service business, it won't work. If you're playing a fee-for-service model in a PPO, it won't work.
Yeah.
So one is understanding which model, which game am I playing?
Yeah, and I think that's,
and then do it correctly.
You nailed it on the head right there, is knowing your marketplace, your patient demographics. If you're trying to open up a fee-for-service practice in a blue-collar neighborhood, that's probably not going to do very well. And again, I'm generalizing here, but if you're opening up a fee-for-service practice in a very affluent area.
Well, let's take a different example. Okay, since you're in marketing.
Yeah.
Okay, if you say I want to open a fee-for-service office, and yet I want to do zero marketing, good luck.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work.
No, that's not going to work.
Okay. On the other hand, if you say I want an HMO that gives me a capitation check and do zero marketing, you might be fine.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to do a Medicaid office and do zero marketing, and I'm the only Medicaid provider in a 100-mile radius, you might do fine.
Mm-hmm.
So something as simple as that, you have to know, your model to know, do I do marketing or not marketing?
And I think
How much marketing do I do? What type of marketing do I do? I mean, just something as simple as that.
And I think that's what a lot of, practice owners struggle with is they get all this competing advice and information from people with their own agendas. It's hard to find someone to get advice from who truly has your best interest. And I think that's
Or it may be nothing nefarious. It may just be cookie cutter approach.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not necessarily trying to steer them down a wrong path because of a hidden agenda. But they know this model and they give it to this, and the person tries it 3 months, 6 months, wasting time, wasting money, opportunity cost lost. And all
they have a bad taste in their mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I could not agree more. And that kind of brings me into my next question. You've trained over 20,000 dentists through your implant seminars. And when you look at the ones who go on to build thriving practices versus the ones who go on to struggle, what would you say the thing that sticks out to you is?
Two things, okay, before we even get to the answer on that, but I'm proud of the 20,000 in many regards. That's not how I describe and think of myself. I think of myself as a boutique trainer, okay? It is not a guy going out in a stadium full of 20,000 people and not getting to know them and giving a canned speech. It is not a guy that's out there training 500 people at a time with spotlights in his eyes. He doesn't see them, doesn't connect with them. Is the way I see myself and do is small boutique groups, 10 people, 15 people for 10 weekends. Where I get to know them and customize it for them.
Absolutely.
Whether it's clinical training, whether it's implants or sinuses, customized to their skill set and their level. Some people learn faster, some people learn slower. Is I see myself as a boutique trainer, and I've always been like that.
Yep.
Yes, it has turned into 20,000, not because we're doing it at an industrial scale.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's just because a lot of years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will speak.
Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but it's a lot of years.
I've been coming, and being a part of your events now for close to 8 years, and that's been one of my favorite parts about your events is the smaller events. For me, coming in as a vendor, as a marketing partner, it allows me to actually create relationships.
And you see that, right?
Yes,
Even, even with exhibitors.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful.
boutique.
It's a community.
It's 3. It is not 50 folks.
No.
Okay? And it's things I truly believe in. Okay? Folks I truly work with that I will have at an event. Not someone willing to pay an exhibit fee.
Exactly.
That is not how we work at all.
Yeah.
So again, I'm proud of the 20,000, but that's not the way I see it. I see this boutique one-on-one, 1-on-10, that type of training. And the second part is that your question you asked is about what do you see about the ones that implement versus the ones that don't, or the ones that are successful versus not. There's a lot of things, of course.
Yeah.
A whole checklist of things. But I think is the biggest part of it, the first part of it is mindset. Is if you've got the mindset, okay, is this is my goal. This is what I want. This is why I want it. Is that right there is completely different than, well, I don't really have a goal. I don't really know why I want it. I just kind of, I don't know. Just, completely different.
Oh,
okay.
Agreed.
Now, there's a lot of other steps, but that biggest one is a mindset.
Agreed. I think something that I learned very early on in my career from a mentor was positive affirmations. If you can convince yourself that you are going to accomplish that goal, the only person that's going to stop yourself is you. And I still do this every morning. I wake up and I recite the same 15 positive affirmations that I've been saying to myself since I was in college. And you know what? I'm not always perfect. I don't always exude the attributes that I'm talking about in all of my affirmations. But for the most part, I've gotten to where I want it to be. And I think what you said earlier, the growth mindset, once someone truly decides, And when I say truly decide, it means they're not going to give up when things get tough, because things are going to 100% get tough. If they don't, you're not doing it right. Is if you believe in yourself and you're willing to put in that extra work and surround yourself with other like-minded people, you're almost always going to get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to shift into how patients find dentists now. We already know you've been in this industry for decades.
Yeah.
How have you seen patient behavior change when it comes to finding and choosing a dentist, especially for high-value procedures like implants?
You know, the different ways is patients are going to find you is internal marketing. That means referrals.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right?
Okay, referrals. That could be is patients that needed a filling before now need an implant, or needed a implant now need 4 implants. So it could be bigger case on existing patient population on your 2,000 charts or 3,000 charts, what have you. It could be getting referrals from those 2,000 or 3,000 that you have, so maybe a couple of hundred on referrals. But beyond that, to cast a bigger net, beyond just those 2,000, is external marketing. Okay, that's it. And so external marketing could be, in a way, being a Medicaid provider is your external marketing.
Absolutely.
Your HMO capitation is your external marketing. Even PPO is your external marketing.
Absolutely.
And folks tell me, well, I hate the write-offs. I'm like, well, the write-offs, that's your marketing.
Yeah, exactly.
Budget,
You'd be paying a marketing company either way. So it's like,
I mean, you can't complain about the write-offs and yet sign up. The reason you signed up is because that's your marketing budget.
Yeah.
Because one of the biggest complaints I get from folks, like, yeah, my biggest stress is the PPO write-offs. I'm like, you're just wording it incorrectly. That's your marketing budget with them. Okay? External marketing, however you choose to do it, through these mechanisms or external marketing.
Yeah.
Okay? And then external marketing can be broken down into things like billboards and radio and TV. And even within social media, there's different categories.
Oh yeah, there's organic social media, there's paid social media, there's different platforms. Like,
and then
there's
you go,
a million different ways.
Instagram is different than Facebook.
Absolutely.
Even though they both might be Meta, and then Threads.
And it's changing. Like what was in the past, it was long form content, then it was short form content, and now it's doing stupid dances. And like, I get it. I'm not the kind of person that would ever do a stupid dance, but I have no clients that make a killing on social media because they're not afraid to put themselves out there. But I will say, for anyone who's thinking about going that route, those creators, those dentists that are spending that time, they are spending 20 hours a week or spending a ton of money with someone to help them do that. It's not as easy as it might seem. It's not just do a dance and all of a sudden you're viral, you're famous. It requires, I think what I'm trying to say is, no matter what you do, it requires work one way or the other, whether it's working with PPOs, HMOs, external marketing companies, and the millions of different types of ways that you can do external marketing. You got to find what works for you. And again, I think that goes back to what we're talking about earlier, is like knowing your marketplace, knowing your demographics, and figuring out different ways to get in front of those people.
Right. And I'm not comfortable, is even though I give seminars every week, in person, I love that connection. I feel very comfortable. On camera, I don't.
I know.
And I don't know why. I don't understand why. Yeah, I freeze up. Is if I'm told, okay, we got to shoot this video, I'm like, oh gosh.
I was sitting here stressing about it too before too, so we're on the same page.
Yes. Okay. But I will tell you, anytime I've done it, the impact of the practice has been like this.
Absolutely.
We've always gotten a huge ROI. The block is me when I'm with and sit there and do it. Okay. Yes.
I remember the first time I got in video shoot, this was almost 8 years ago. I looked like I wanted to murder the video camera. Like the look, I had no expression on my face, like, hi, my name is P, blah, blah, blah. And again, I've gotten better over the years, but it still makes me feel uncomfortable. And I think that's one of the biggest roadblocks or things that, clients coming on board with Lasso are nervous about. Is like, oh, I'm going to get on camera. And I think that what we've done, and you can attest to this, is we don't come out with scripts. In fact, we used to. In fact, you might have actually done a script process with us in the very early days. But now we come out with questions that are going to prompt our clients to answer in a way that's going to show well in video. And again, the magic in video happens in post-production. Not to downplay the actual creators that are capturing that content, but let's be real. We all carry around 4K cameras in our pockets. Obviously the lighting, the audio, all of that's important. But at the end of the day, it's just about putting yourself out there and saying the things that are going to lend to your authoritativeness, your genuinity. Like that's what people want to see is, can I trust Dr. Garg? After watching his video, I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, no, this is someone I can trust to go spend $20,000 with, especially with some of those implant cases. those are some high value, big ticket items. So, and leads me perfectly
And
into
no matter how much I intellectually know it's good and it works, and if you, that old saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, then video are 10,000.
Yeah, absolutely,
okay?
not more.
Yes.
Yeah.
So even though I intellectually understand it, it doesn't make it any more comfortable for me. So I tell the doctors in my courses, you got to do it, okay? And the other thing, again, it's still emotionally, it's tough for me, but intellectually I know, when I look at some of these guys, Gary Vee and all these guys, you look at their things that they were putting out there years ago, what we do is better than what they were doing.
I could not agree more.
But they just put themselves out there.
Exactly.
Okay?
And that's the one thing I have told everyone from day one of starting this business is like, it's going to be uncomfortable.
Yes.
No one likes looking at themselves on camera. I mean, maybe some people do this, and those people are typically actors. But at the end of the day, like, our voices sound weird to us when we hear them. We don't like our mannerisms. Like, it's just, there's something awkward about watching yourself on video. But other than face-to-face, as you've already said, there's no better type of way to get to know someone than through video. And that's where a lot of these patients are starting their online journey. You know, and in years past, it was go to Google, search for someone, find some results, maybe watch some videos on their website, et cetera, check out their social media, which leads me into my next question is the way that the patients are finding dental practices to work with is fundamentally changing, and the way it's changed so rapidly is mind-blowing. There's a stat I just read the other day. It's something like 60% of people don't even get past the AI overview on Google now. So they're not going to the...
Just get that first line.
Exactly. They're doing that, and then they're typing in, talking to Gemini.
Yes.
So are you seeing an impact at your own practice or with the, any of the practices that you're working with on a more
two things I'll tell you
basis?
One is on the seminar side, one time we had a videographer came over, shot some videos about me for my seminars, implant seminars. He gave us 10 one-minute videos, somebody in the office put them up.
Yeah.
Nothing is a professional shoot.
Yeah.
Professional post-production, but after that, we just kind of put them up.
Just let them sit there and not do much.
Yeah. And I had one of our all-time alumni, who at that time was an associate, eventually grew to 12 offices now.
Awesome.
He's got a bunch of associates now of his
Good for
own,
him.
right? And he said, oh, all my associates signing up for your courses, they've heard me talk about it, but they love your ads. And for a while, I was confused about what ads.
Yeah, like, well, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, he goes, your video ads. I said, what video ads? I don't run video ads.
Yeah.
Because I was doing SEO and the usual thing, Google, AdWords, etc. I said, I don't run videos. They all are bragging about they loved you. And I scratched my head. I said, you mean those 10 little things? I'm like, wow.
How did
they were that impactful. They were posted.
Okay.
And it wasn't even a lot of marketing about it. But the fact that it was there, it was 10,000 words. Okay, it worked. And so it works.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
As much as I might be shy to do it. And the second part is, last week, I had 3 patients that came in and said, I found you on ChatGPT.
It's
one from Texas that flew in, and he said, I need a sinus lift. And I said, who is the best for a sinus lift?
And it said Dr.
And ChatGPT says, go to Miami.
Yep.
Another one from about 2 hours away. Okay, a little bit north, like Delray Beach from Miami. It wasn't for routine implants.
But still, like, it
was for exotic procedures. It was for sinus lift. I Googled. I didn't Google. I went to ChatGPT. He said, go to Arun Garg. I don't even know how I got on there, but I got 3 patients out of it.
I will say, with AI optimization, it's the wild, wild west right now. And you and I were talking about this yesterday. I've been in dental marketing now for close to 14 years. And when I first got in, it was my job to convince people that SEO was a real thing. Yes. People were, oh no, I don't. I just put my ad in the yellow pages. People find me that way. I get referrals, etc. But I was like, no, this works. Yes. And now, if you go talk to anyone, no one's gonna say, oh, I don't believe in SEO. And maybe some people have, feel stronger or lesser about it. But at the end of the day, SEO is a viable way to generate traffic. Google Ads, social media, all viable ways to generate traffic. But what's the most interesting to me right now is how it is the wild, wild west in AI. No one has a clear-cut playbook. No one knows exactly what to do. Now, we do know some things that we know, like, hey, if you have FAQ schema markup on your pages and it's, structured the right way on the back end, that's going to help with your answer engine optimization.
I have no idea what that meant,
I know.
but I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
I want it. Whatever it is, I want it.
And I think the craziest part to me, though, is just, I'm going to give a presentation later today at your symposium. And that presentation 6 months from now will probably be outdated because it's rapidly changing at a rate that I've never, ever witnessed before in marketing. And there's so many people out there right now that are going to be throwing buzzwords around for AI optimization. And I will caution anyone from listening to someone that says, I'm the best AI optimizer, blah, 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 blah. It's, at the end of the day, a good SEO strategy should bleed over into AI optimization. It's more just about structuring your content in a way that makes it easy for the different, AI entities to pull in that information.
Yes.
So it's exciting. Like,
because I guess that's what they're doing. They're not creating it. They're pulling information from what's out there.
Exactly. And it's, we'll get into more detail, but really, to break it down really easy, answer engine optimization is quick questions with quick answers. So what do I do if I cracked my tooth?
Yes.
Quick answer on your website. Then there's generative engine optimization, or GEO, and that would be more like your local intent, but you want to make sure it's like, what do I do if I cracked my tooth in Honolulu, Hawaii? Then if on your website, say you have a practice here, it says, hey, the cost to get your chipped tooth fixed in Hawaii is $3,000, but you should call the practice here, come in for an x-ray and consultation so we can ensure that there's no further issues. That's generative engine optimization, local intent with pricing. And then large language model optimization is LLMO. And this is where blogs have made their comeback. Forever, blogs have kind of died out. But it's your complex questions with complex answers. This is where you can get more into your clinical knowledge. And this is what I was telling you, someone who has, 9+ publications, like, you're already ahead of the game. So we'll definitely have to figure out a way to implement that to practice.
And maybe that's where some of these patients came from.
Probably.
But if we can optimize it even better, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things that we focus on at Lasso is revenue attribution and connecting the new patient back to specific, marketing events and marketing opportunities. How important has that visibility been for you, and how important should that visibility be for other practice owners who are considering, starting to invest, larger amounts in their marketing dollars?
You got to know it.
Yeah.
Okay. And I've always been a clinical speaker. I've learned these other things because I had to. Okay. And then I learned them for myself, and I've learned it so I can coach my doctors as well.
Yeah.
And there's a slide I have in one of my presentations, which is, it's just a picture of a hook with some dollar bills on it. It says, half the money I spend on marketing is wasted. The problem is I don't know which half.
Yep.
Okay. And that's the key. That second line, the problem is I don't know which half. If you know which half, then you can shrink that half down. If you don't know which half, you might increase that half.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
And then you're even these bad positions.
And so you've got to know what's getting results. You would never do a clinical procedure
if you didn't have
without knowing the results.
Exactly.
Okay, without knowing the percentages that work.
Yep.
Okay. And here we're doing a procedure without knowing the outcome. You've got to know the outcome. Now, the first time you may not, but after 2 or 3 or 4 times, you got to know, is that blue ad or is a green ad or the yellow ad going to perform better? Simplistically, of course. It's not about a color.
No, that's a great way of explaining.
Because if blue does better than yellow and green, and blue does 3 times as good, then let's funnel all my time and energy.
Let's consider cutting back on the other ones and
Yes.
double down. No,
Yes.
it's something that from day one that we set out as a company to accomplish, and it took us a while to get there. It's what in the beginning we were doing manual calculations, we were white labeling another company, and they built down a stripped down version of their software for us. But over the last 3 years, since we've introduced our own in-house software, it's fundamentally changed the types of relationships that we can have with our clients. Instead of us just being viewed as a marketing vendor, now we're their marketing partner. And we are creating this transparent level playing field that allows us to truly collaborate with our clients. It's no longer taking our word for it. It's like, hey, here's what's working. Here's what's not working. Like, we're not going to sit there and hide behind analytics.
You've got to know that. Absolutely.
And our clients really appreciate that because we're like, hey, you know what? This campaign is not performing that well. I think we should shut it off. And in the past, we wouldn't necessarily have the visibility we need to make those types of judgments. And I would say, again, the collaboration that it's allowed us to have with our clients has been the biggest game changer. Well, it went from something that, so many practice owners out there have had bad experiences with marketing companies. But I think if we actually sat there and took a look at it, some of those relationships that were perceived as bad probably weren't as bad as they thought, but marketing companies did not have a way to actually show. So it was, again, just taking their word for it.
Or they didn't evolve.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
is when I first left the university and did marketing, you know, there was a marketing company and they just, I don't even know. They never filmed me. They never videoed. I don't know what they were running, and it worked.
Yeah.
And it's fine. And they never called me. They never got input from me. I never called them.
Yeah.
And that was it. You know, we got patients, we wrote them a check. We got patients, we wrote them a check. It was very simple. Today, you need to have content. They got to have video. They got to have photo. They got to have quotes. They got to have credibility. They got to have blogs. They got to have all these things.
Yeah.
And so today, if I were to call that same company from back then, and they said, okay, we've evolved, we want that, that would work.
Yeah.
If they haven't evolved, and you call them and go, what are you calling us for? Don't worry about it. Do you want to shoot some video? No.
Yeah.
We're going to keep on doing what we did 15 years ago or 10 years ago. Then
Yeah,
it's
no,
gotta change.
I could not agree more.
Yes.
And that's where, for us, like some of our biggest internal projects right now are all about AI optimization. And again, as I said earlier, it's so rapidly and quickly evolving that it's hard for us to sit here and say, hey, we are the best, like blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we know that is the future. It's people are turning to these engines, and these engines are only getting smarter. Like the amount of time I've spent learning about AI in the last couple of months is mind blowing. Like I never thought that would be my passion, but I'm sitting there every night teaching AI to basically be an AI clone of me. And it's mind blowing. Like my wife is like, it's 2 a.m. in the morning. She wakes up, she looks at me, she's like, Pete, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just working on my AI clone. Don't worry about it. She's like, Pete, you need to go to bed. I'm like, yeah, but if I create this AI clone, a lot of the stuff I have to do during the day will be a lot easier. And I think there's different trains of thoughts around how AI is going to affect businesses and culture as a whole. But I'm definitely under the belief that it's here to help us. If we learn how to allow it to take over some of our more redundant tasks and help us be in our flow state, per se, where we can do what we do best, which for you, educating people. For me, it's talking to people, building connections, but I can't do that when I'm writing emails and creating presentations. It's like, it's much easier for us to basically do what we do best and enjoy what we do, because I don't
and let it do the redundancy.
Exactly.
Yes.
Like that's, again, I can't tell you how many times I've written the same exact email with a very slightly variation. It's just like change out the doctor's name, maybe change out a little bit of the information, but the other day is the same thing. Now this is one of the things that I am most interested at for what you've done at your practices, and not even the practices where you're working with us. But lead management, in my opinion, is something where a lot of practices really struggle. Like my sales organization, we use Salesforce as our CRM. Most dental practices, if I said CRM to a practice owner,
No idea.
they'd be like, what's a CRM? And I'm like, oh, you know those weird commercials you see, Salesforce, that's a CRM. But let's be real, Salesforce to implement in a practice, it would make no sense. It's such a huge piece of software. So my question for you is, how does you and your team go about managing leads at your dental practices?
Because I'm involved in so many other businesses outside dentistry.
Yeah, you have a different lens that you can
So
look at.
I know CRM, and I've used CRM software for decades, right? And different ones, they've evolved as well. So I understand that. So it's very easy for me to cut paste from this business to the dental office, okay? And what I have seen, and if you go, any of these guys like a Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins or Jay Abraham, they will tell you that, and the percent of closes on the first touch.
Oh, it's astronomical.
1%.
Yeah, it's tiny.
Okay. The second touch, another 2%. The third touch, the magic happens at the 7th through the 10th touch. Most dental practices, we do one touch.
Yep.
The initial consultation.
Maybe two.
Okay. And yet, so in my other things, I realized, not when I was at the university, but once I became an entrepreneur, that it happens in magic at touch number 7 through 10. And most practices give up at 1 and 2.
Yeah. No.
So I was able to implement that here, that we don't give up until either they say, I've gone to another office, or I no longer am interested in veneers, or you've had 7 to 10 touches.
Yeah.
One of those 3 things.
I You said so many beautiful things there. Very early on in my career, a mentor once told me, the more no's you get, the closer you are to a yes. And that has stuck with me for the last, 20 years. And really what it's saying is like, you want to get to that no, because the closer you get to no, means the closer you are to a yes. It is a numbers game. And the worst thing you can do is start chasing someone when you're on like touch 15, 20. That's where it's like, you look desperate. But if one of my sales, executives on my team did not follow up with a person at least 7 to 10 times, they're going to be spoken to me. Like, I'm like, hey, like, we're paying money to generate these leads. And that's how practice owners should be.
Being spoken to on their way out.
Yeah, right.
Showing them the door. Yes.
But this is what
I ran the numbers. And so I looked at new patients.
Yeah.
Okay. And what percent of revenue came from closes?
Yeah.
And what percent came from follow-up closes?
And I bet you the fall is
70% came from follow-up closes.
Wow.
Only 30% came on closes that day.
Jeez.
Not because I'm bad at explaining, not because I'm bad at working out the diagnosis. It just needs follow-up. Okay. Just like I do.
Yeah.
Okay. When I have a decision to make, whether it's healthcare, whether it's dollars, whether it's both dollars and healthcare,
Yeah.
I don't think I jump and say yes immediately. Okay. I think most of us don't. Why would we think our patients, 70% of our revenue from new patients is on follow-up, not on the initial close.
That is, we might have to create a case study around that. That's some powerful stuff.
Yes.
And I think that's,
And if someone's not doing it, they give it 2/3.
yeah, I know, exactly. And that's, so in our software, is one of my favorite new features that we have released, and because a lot of practices are not set up to follow up with the leads, or they're not giving the right tools.
Or they're not doing it the right way.
Exactly.
Because to pick up the phone and call them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Pick up the phone, just pick up the phone and call them is, you got to use the right verbiage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Is if that front desk just says, hey, you came in, is you said no.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you came for that toothache.
Yep.
How's that toothache coming along? Did it temporarily resolve? Did it get, et cetera?
Worse. Yeah.
Okay. You said you were interested in those veneers. Did your needs change? Did your desires change? Did you want to see a mock-up?
Yeah.
Okay. Did we give you a mock-up? Do you want to do a mock-up? Do you want to do a digital mock-up? That verbiage, instead of you're overdue for a clearance, you missed your appointment.
Come back in.
Exactly. So it's doing the follow-up. Okay. I mean, number one, doing the follow-up the right way. Doing the follow-up in the right frequency. Okay.
Frequency is very important.
Too fast, too slow. Okay. All of those. Okay. It's a whole step-by-step sequence. And the thing is who's doing it? Who's teaching it? Who's implementing it?
No, and I think that's where our nurture feature within our software has been so largely successful, is for the practices who don't have the ability to do it yet on their own, or they're still learning how to do it. They need help. They need systems to follow. They need some sort of automation. And what we're seeing is with our new lead nurture software. So right now, the way it's set up within our software is if a lead goes untouched for usually 2 to 4 weeks is where, somewhere we'll set that threshold. But then it gets put into an SMS drip campaign. And then over the course of that next year,
at the right sequence.
Exactly.
And with the right verbiage.
Exactly.
That's critical.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, the first message like, hey, did you ever get your dental work done? Do you need a second opinion? The next text message might be, hey, here's a video of Dr. Garg talking about implants because you mentioned that you were really interested in implant. The next message, hey, here's a video of one of our really happy patients that received implants from Dr. Garg. Like that's what I've been trying so hard to get practices.
So they do credibility, then they do the social.
Yeah, and it's like, but if you've paid a marketing company to generate these leads, just because they don't schedule right away does not mean that they chose someone else, does not mean that they're not interested. It just means you didn't get to them at the right time.
No, yes.
Exactly.
You lose the 70% if we don't.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. So if you were starting a practice from scratch today, knowing everything you know, what would your marketing playbook look like?
X, any internal marketing. I mean, other than friends and family, but that's pretty much
you got to build that over time, of course.
Yes. So it's got to be external marketing, right? And the external marketing, the most important thing is, the two most important things I think would be your brand and your avatar, who your target audience is.
Could not agree more.
Okay, so you got to know what your brand is. Do we want to be the Neiman Marcus? Do we want to be, or in hotel? Do you want to be Ritz Carlton? Do I want to be Hyatt?
Yeah.
Do I want to be Hilton Garden or Courtyard Marriott? Don't be is Fairfield Inns. So you have to know what your brand is going to be so you can market effectively.
Of course.
And number two, you have to know who your avatar, who am I marketing to? All right. That's the first two things.
Yep.
And if you don't know that, it doesn't matter.
I could not agree with you more.
And then after that, and that could be on your own or with your marketing team, is developing that brand, developing your target audience, right, together. And then after that, strategizing based on your brand and based on your target audience. Is it going to be this social media or that social media? This or that? This or that?
I mean, because like think about it. Facebook skews to the older populations. Instagram skews to millennials. The Snapchats and TikToks to the younger generations, like Gen Zers.
So just that, it doesn't matter. I see a thing is this Ferrari doesn't do TV ads.
I've never seen one.
And they say because our buyers aren't sitting around watching TV.
No, they're not. They're out there working. They're
okay. Well, then that's all. They might be advertising at the executive airports.
Yep.
Because on private jets, et cetera, et cetera.
When they have their Ferrari F1 teams.
Yes. So you've got to know your brand and who your target audience is, and then is the marketing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Once you decide, who you're going to go after, how you're going to go about doing that, you got to let people see what you're doing. So, but again, like you said, it's going to be heavily influenced by who your target audience is. And I think that's, if people don't do a good job of identifying that and creating that patient avatar, then they're kind of just shooting in the dark. They don't know what they're shooting for. They're just like, oh, I'll just kind of take anything that comes in, but then their brand's weak. So I couldn't agree with you more. Establishing that strong brand. And another thing that I commonly see clients get caught up on is the name of their brand. And I tell everyone this, and there are some, technical marketing aspects to it, but the name of the brand doesn't actually mean anything because it means nothing until you make it a brand. Facebook meant nothing until Mark Zuckerberg built it up the way it did. Ferrari meant nothing until Ferrari made it Ferrari. My point here is it's emotional process aside of the name of your brand, but at the end of the day, you're going to be the one that makes that brand something that is noticeable, that's recognizable, that's memorable. Like, when you first open up your practices, no one know, like in the private practice realm, no one knew who Dr. Garg is. Now if you hear Dr. Garg, like, oh, I know Dr. Garg implants. Like Dr. Garg implants, you tell anyone.
Yeah, that's what happens. I think people spend too much time on that side of it.
I could not agree more.
Occasionally, if you're a third generation dentist in that city, everyone knows that family name, you might want to use a family name instead of generic, excellent dentistry of whatever. Okay. But except for unique situations, that name is not the driver. Use the same time and energy on knowing exactly what your brand represents, who your target audience is. Focus on that.
Awesome. Well, we'll close it up here. So for anyone who's watching and wants to learn more about implant seminars, the IDA, where should they go? And for anyone who's curious about what Lasso MD could do for their practice, any advice before they reach out?
For us is we're actually now branding more as Garg Institute is because it's so much beyond just implant seminars, peri seminars, etc. We do boutique, small groups, and a lot of it is now focusing not just on the clinical, but the whole ecosystem. So almost think of it like a mastermind groups, this type of thing, where we can focus on the clinical aspect and the ecosystem to get the right supplies, the right products, so you can be maximally effective, best success rate and best profitability is so garginstitute.com is easy.
I love it. And we were just talking about how your name is built of credibility. So, I'll lean into that a bit more.
And then is your contact information. You can give them.
I mean, for anyone that wants to reach out to me, I'm pretty sure they can find me. I'm out there.
Yes.
Well, with Dr. Garg, it's been a pleasure working with you for almost these 8 years. Every time we get together, I have fun. I learn so much. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of the community.
Thanks. And thanks for being a part of the symposium with us in
course.
Hawaii. You come to Hawaii Symposium previously.
You don't have to yank my arm to go to an event in Hawaii. So, but hey, I appreciate it.
Excellent. Thanks.
Awesome.